A weekend of shocking violence at Trump rallies, and why Whoopi wants him to get the nomination. And only on The View, Melissa Harris Perry on her ugly split with MSNBC. Why she says execs tried to silence her. Then, view your deal with Stacey London. We partnered with vendors for up to 60% off cool, clever, and stylish stuff when you're on the go. It all starts now on The View with Whoopi, Michelle Collins, Joy Behar, Candace Cameron Bure, Raven Simone, and Paula Ferris. Now, let's get things started.
Senior legal correspondent Sonny Hudson is back at the table. And so am I. I'm back.
How was the week off? What'd you do?
I made a movie with Charlie Sheen over this week. And then Friday, which was the prelude to my great-granddaughter's birthday. She's turning 2. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
We went to Disneyland. That's her. She would see these big things. She would just hug everything. She kissed everything. We danced in the Paint the Night parade. And like a fool. You know, at the end of the parade, you know, you can come off the sidewalks and... So I thought we were at the end of the parade. We were not. We were at the beginning of the parade. And so so we're marching and dancing, and the kids in front of us would say, "Only 14 more times around to do." It's like, wait, what? So I have lost some weight. I don't know if you can see it.
Whoopi, I think your smile is bigger than your granddaughter's. Your great-granddaughter's smile.
For me, Disneyland has been part of my life since I'm a little kid. You remember they used to have the Wonderful World of Disney Color on Channel 4. Now, sorry, the other channel.
And that's for the cello and the,
all of these
Musketeers.
And my mom always said, you know, one day she'd say to my brother and I, "I'm going to take you kids there." And, you know, she didn't have any money, and so we always hoped that it would happen. And so once I got grown, I was able to bring her, and then I brought my brother out, and she wasn't expecting. So it's been, you know, it's 5 generations, and now this little one is the 5th of a generation of Disney goers. I just love it.
I also want to say that you did a stand-up routine in Brooklyn on Saturday, and I went, and it was wonderful.
Oh, you went to that?
I did go.
At the King's Theater, right?
At the King's Theater,
it was terrific.
Gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful theater. And, you know, I tried a lot of new stuff because it's, you know, I get bored. I bore myself. But I made myself laugh a couple of times.
It was funny. It was funny.
And there were little kids there. I didn't find that out until later. It was like,
yeah. Whoopi's a little on the X-rated. She's a little X-rated.
I cuss a lot.
Yeah.
I cuss a lot. I don't talk about, like, you know, nasty stuff. I talk about what happens to you sort of when you get a little older. But then I throw the bomb around the whole time, you know, because that's me. But talking about throwing stuff around, it was a very violent weekend on Trump's campaign trail. Now, protesters tweeted Bernie Sanders' line when he says his disruptors aren't told to go to my events. "Be careful, Bernie, or my supporters will go to yours."
Wow.
Whoa.
Now, the man has done so. I mean, it seems like Bernie's done something that Donald has done. He hasn't denounced any of the violence. Donald hasn't said, "Don't do this. This is a terrible way to do stuff." And yet Bernie says, you know, "I'm denouncing it." So why is there a discrepancy
Donald
here?
doubles down on it, as a matter of fact. You know, I'm going to pay your legal fees if you punch somebody in the face.
And then that 78-year-old man punched that 28-year-old kid. Now, you know, if it had been reversed, I think it would it would have been a little different, don't you?
I saw that tape, and that kid was not being
wasn't doing
violent.
it.
He was sucker punching. I mean, he was looking down, and a
That was a-
78-year-old has been charged, though.
Yeah,
he has
good.
been charged.
Yes.
But, you know, there's been this
He
discussion.
said, next time I'll kill him, though.
Yeah.
Did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he did.
He's a
Yes.
charmer.
He said maybe
he
next
did.
time
Yeah.
It's
we'll
turning
kill
into
him.
like a UFC pay-per-view event,
it's
these rallies. It's crazy.
unbelievable.
I mean, 1968 all over again.
But is it really inciting violence? Like, I know as a baby lawyer, we were always told, you can hate someone's speech, but you better fight to the death for their
them to
right
be able
to
to say
say
it.
it. And I feel very strongly about that. So a lot of this speech is protected by the First Amendment. People are allowed to say what they want to say. But I think, you know, and I don't think he's ever going to be held criminally liable for inciting violence.
So
Courts
you're
always
allowed to
err.
say, I'd like to knock the crap out of somebody in front of an assembled group of people, and you're allowed to say next time, what did he say? You know what they
Take 'em out of the
used to do to
stretcher,
guys
kill
like
'em.
this when they
Yeah.
were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher.
When did we?
You are allowed to say
The
those
problem, I think, at these rallies is that these people who are supporting Trump don't know how to express themselves verbally because they just can't. So I mean, they're fired up.
Very small percentage, I would say a small minority, and you talk to a lot of the Trump
Small
supporters.
minority of what?
Small minority of his supporters. I mean, the majority of people that are at these rallies, they don't want to see violence, but he
How
keeps
do you know
pandering.
that?
He keeps pandering to a very small portion of people that are there. And you know what I want from my politicians?
No, I'm sorry. There's statistics saying I want to punch this guy in the face,
No, you
and I
ask
don't.
you ask a lot of the supporters. They don't want to see that. They're not there for that. They bring their kids. Do you think they really want to see that at a rally?
I think a lot of them
They
go
don't
for
wanna
the
see it.
entertainment of it,
Wait,
personally.
so what's the point? So he incites a few who are violent. That's all you need is
gotta
a little bit
stop.
of violence
You know-
goes a long way.
You know what I want to see? There was a great picture. I don't know if we can actually show it, but it was from Mrs. Reagan's funeral. It was a picture of George W. and of Hillary Clinton hugging and smiling, and that I want. It's such a tense period in politics right now. I love this. This is what I want to see from my politicians.
That's not
I
Trump.
want it. I know, but I want
Not
to
who
see.
he is.
You want to see
no.
people hugging
He's
at
not hugging
funerals.
up on anybody.
I'm just saying, the political climate is not good. And if you guys, just let me finish what I'm saying, okay? Let me finish talking. There's so much unrest and so much tension and so much bitterness between sides. I want to see that. I want to see that at the end of the day, you know, we can put our differences aside and we can hug no matter what tears us apart. And that's what I want to see.
I completely am with you. But it's a competition at the moment, and it's a bloodthirsty one. And it's, I mean, even on both
Let
sides. 'cause
that picture be an
Can I just
example.
say one
Let
thing?
that be an
See,
example.
those were okay. Go on.
What I
Example.
see is a kind of a bastardization of the First and Second Amendments going on. I don't think that the founding fathers had in their mind that the presidential candidate can say, I'm going to sucker punch you, or that you could take an AK-47 to go hunting in the forest for deer. I do not believe that that was their intention. And it's supposed to be, the golden mean is supposed to be, that's what the Greeks said, whatever sort of the medium temperament. These people are extremists.
But you want to
They are.
protect,
And I think
that
it's
hateful
killing
speech.
this country. It's killing us.
Here's the problem with it, because there is hate speech, but there's speech that you don't want, that we have all decided is not good. Running into a crowded theater yelling fire is just not a good idea.
It's illegal.
Well, it is illegal.
Well,
Is it?
Kind of. It's a long, wonky answer, but the bottom line is courts always err on the side of protecting speech, even if that speech is
So you're saying
hateful.
that if the court says, you know, yeah, it's okay for little Stevie to run in there and say, hey, the theater's on fire, and it causes a riot of people trying to get out. You're telling me the court would err on the side of this guy when the place was not on fire?
What I'm saying is, unless Donald Trump says, you over there hit that person over there, and then I'll pay for it.
Actually,
that would be inciting violence.
What he did
but he hasn't crossed that line.
Well, I think actually he has, because they were taking one guy out, and he said, you know, let's get him.
I wish the law agreed
Let's
with
get
you,
him.
but it doesn't.
I get that the law doesn't, but when did it become? I know it's a rap, but you know, what am I going to do?
We can keep it next.
You know. It's just because I think we have a lot of questions, because many things changed in the last
have.
2
They
years
have.
where you can't go demonstrate. I don't know if you guys know this. We'll come back and tell you
Yeah,
more,
yeah. There's
and
more.
we'll have more conversations.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.
Still ahead, is Madonna having a meltdown? Her bizarre onstage rant going viral. Melissa Harris Perry hits Hot Topics to reveal why she walked away from MSNBC. Plus, view your deal, because we partnered with vendors for up to 60% off smart and stylish solutions for life on the go.
So we were talking about several different things having to do with the First Amendment, but I was wondering if any of you knew, any of you in the audience knew that it was now illegal to protest at a political rally.
Well, if the Secret Service is present.
If the Secret Service is present.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
You have to be outside.
This apparently happened in 2012.
Yeah, maybe 5 years ago.
So none of y'all voted for that. Okay.
Aren't there like peaceful protest areas where you're supposed to go and like have your picket sign?
Not in the arena.
In that kind of situation, outside.
Yeah.
And again, peaceful protest is sort of, it's part of our constitutional right, right? But now we have a law where you can still peacefully protest, but not necessarily at a rally where you have a political candidate that's protected by the Secret Service.
You can, in fact, be imprisoned for up to a year for trespassing, correct? So
They really should have done all this before he got the Secret Service, because once he started to get numbers in the polls, then he got Secret Service.
Yeah, but you know, I think most people didn't take it seriously. And most people, that's why no one said, after the first 4 dozen things that he said that were offensive and disgusting, no one said, I mean, come on, you know, nobody said anything. Nobody said a word. The Republicans didn't say anything. None of the folks, none of the 25 people on that day said jack.
You know, but when you watch him, do you see somebody who's all there? I see somebody who's... I don't see a complete package of, like...
Do you know what I see?
He seems nuts to me sometimes,
I see someone who has been so trained by his media professionals, and I mean, they all are. They all have people there telling them what to say, but he seems like a hollowed out tree. I know what you mean. Like, he just kind of is missing something there.
Frank Rooney in the New York Times said, this is so good. He says, what eggs Trump on is the sound of his name, uttered by pundits, rivals, crowd. It's like, you know, he's in bed with the girl and it's like, who's your president? Who's your president? You know, like that.
To be fair, that works with any man.
Just
that works
call
with
my
any
name
man.
out.
I don't think you can say...
oh, God, you have to say, oh, Trump. You know what I'm saying?
He's like
But I think if you say media trained, I think he's the least media trained because he's not a politician. In fact,
He's very media trained.
in
You know,
some
6 years
senses.
of doing that damn
he's
show,
doing his own
he knows
thing.
exactly what he's doing. Listen, to me, here's what makes me uncomfortable about him. Power has a way of making people believe they are omnipotent.
Yeah.
And I am
Well, that's where he's at.
concerned that the power that he has, which allows him to say, I'm going to make sure that the media, you know, I can change the law. You can't
He
just...
says he's going to change the
gonna
libel
change
laws.
the libel laws. Listen, man. Hold up. Learn the job first. Learn what you can do.
To that point, go ahead.
I don't think we can be dismissive, though, of the anger that he... Not of Trump, but of the anger he's tapped into.
I'm not being... Listen, the anger is the anger. People are angry. We're all angry. I would like to be... I don't want to pay 45% of my taxes. I'm pissed off, too. But
That's just
I'm not
federal.
slapping people around.
Yeah.
I'm not slapping anybody yet.
But that's the thing. It's like one of the things that bothers me about this notion that they want to have a broker convention if, you know, if Trump is sort of the presumptive nominee. The people have spoken in terms of who they want.
They're not paying attention. They're not paying attention closely enough.
But
that
has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, for me, when I look at him, Joy asked me what I see.
Yeah.
I see someone who is getting drunk with power.
Yeah.
And that's why it's uncomfortable for me. I'm not saying people shouldn't vote for... You should vote for whoever you want. But you should know what you're aligning yourself with.
He has his name all over buildings. I mean, you walk down New York, it's like Trump, Trump, Trump everywhere you look.
And he lies about everything. He's a liar. He's a pathological liar.
They all lie to a certain extent, Joy. I don't think
people like him.
they all
People
lie.
like him.
They all lie.
You never see the discrepancies in what he said. On the one hand is the First Amendment, Then he wants to stop the newspapers from writing bad things about him. Well, that's the First Amendment too, Donald.
Yeah.
But it goes where the sun is in the sky. We've said that. There's an interesting clip I think we should all take a look at. Marco Rubio, who at the moment is not doing great, was asked by other reporters if he would continue to support Trump if Trump wins the nomination. Let's see his answer. It looks like his dog just died. I'm like, is everything okay? He looks very upset. But I have to tell you, I've heard from a lot of Republicans who, you know, support Marco even, that if Trump does win that nomination, they will not support him. And in fact, they're so worried about what he's going to do to the conservative party that they're willing to vote for Hillary in order to make sure that he doesn't get in there and ruin it.
I don't believe that for a second. I think people get behind that curtain and they vote for...
You know what? I agree with that. You know why? They would rather have Hillary Clinton in there for 4 years, obstruct her mercilessly the way they did with Obama, not let her do any damn thing so she looks bad to the country. Then they'll put one of their automatons in there, and then we'll have 8 years of Republicans. That's their plan, is my theory. What do you think of that?
I never heard that. Have you been thinking
just
about
made
this?
it up.
You just made it up? I love it.
We'll be right back.
When there's a baby on the way, does Pop deserve a party too? The rise of the Dad Schiller Party, later.
Hey, welcome back. Actor Henry Cavill, who plays the Man of Steel in the upcoming Black... Okay.
He's handsome.
Somebody's legs just flew over.
Is he a prick? Is he British?
In the blockbuster Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice says there's a double standard when it comes to flirting because women are always hitting on him right in front of his girlfriend.
Duh. Look at him. I've met him, by the way, and I will say this about him. He is so beautiful. It's like seeing Michelangelo's David, except sadly with pants on. But I will add that I asked him kind of a funny question about, I said, Henry, what makes you so handsome? Which is kind of a funny question.
Was his girlfriend there?
No, he was, I think, single at the time. Clearly, I didn't make an impression. But anyways, he didn't have a good sense of humor. He was kind of serious. So I wonder if, I think certain guys are good at playing it off when another girl flirts with them if their girlfriend is there.
He's just tired of constantly being hit upon, right? And
Oh,
being
whatever.
sexualized. Maybe, but I will tell you, I had an experience. I dated this guy. He was absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous. And we went out, 3 couples. We were on vacation, and the waitress wrote her number down on a napkin and gave it to him. And what was so incredible, and I found extremely sexy, was he opened it up in front of me, and he called her back, and he said, "This is not cool."
Yeah, but I bet he left her a good tip.
But
But don't delete this number.
He was like,
I'll call you later.
This is not cool. Because women sometimes don't respect that a man is
because
with
you know what?
It's so different, though, if it's the shoes on the other foot. I know if I get hit on, my husband's like, hey, somebody still finds her attractive. Score for me. You know, it's totally different,
You know,
I think, when the
Steve
shoes
is
on the other
always
foot.
fantasizing that men are hitting on me. We're like the Beyonce and what's his name? Jay-Z of the Lipitor generation. And then, I mean, he's always, did you see that guy was coming on to you? For 30 years he's been doing this. Isn't that adorable?
That's nice.
It is.
It's like, get your eyes checked, okay?
But also, I don't know. Henry is like, let's move on. But he is extremely hot, and I'm sorry to the girlfriend, by the way, she's only 19, so she's like a newborn. I will be being very friendly to him. Go on. Oh, all right. I'm a good person.
19?
What about
She's
her?
only 19.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
She's 19. Is that bad?
No, it's fine. She's an adult.
How?
19. I mean, to me, it's very young.
She can't
but
drink.
He
How
can't
old
get her
is
a
he?
drink.
He's 32, I think.
Yeah.
13 years.
I didn't say anything. I just cleared my throat. It's about a 13-year difference. It's like a bar mitzvah age difference. I think it's fine. He was getting bar mitzvah when she was getting born.
Yeah.
It's okay.
He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out. Because, you know, young is okay, but there's a lot of stuff they don't know, and you get bored.
Yeah.
You get bored. It's
Oh,
like,
he'll
I
be
got to
bored.
teach you this. Oh, my
Yeah.
God. You know. But I won't tell you what I'm talking about. Anyway, he also... admits that he's not just acting for the art. He loves the money. He says he knows it's frowned upon, but he thinks it's great to have cash and get stuff he wants and spread it around to family and friends. And I never heard anybody say that was a bad thing to do, but I
Was he criticized for it?
Apparently
He
was.
he thinks he was.
Can't do anything these days without being
But isn't that
criticized
what
for it.
capitalism is? Get the money and spend it. Get the money and spend it. That's why the minimum wage needs to be raised, because people will spend more money, and then consumerism grows, and then the economy gets better. Isn't that the point of money?
Who knew that Henry
spend
Cavill was
it.
going to give us such a lesson?
I know.
Do you think he's voting for Bernie Sanders is my question. I doubt it.
I can turn everything around to my position politically.
But at least he's giving back to his family and friends. Do you know what I'm
He
saying?
can fan the hundreds over his abs. Again, I'm a fan. I think it's great.
The guy is a Brit. You just told me. The British don't make the kind of money that American movies make. You know, they're on the stage. They make, what, $400 a week or something? They don't make a lot of money. So they get an American movie like this. It's like, hey, there's some cash here.
Yeah.
So he's enjoying it.
Endless scones.
I think
Think
that
about
so
it.
Laurence Olivier, didn't he do the Betsy, that horrible bomb of a movie? This is Hamlet we're talking about here, just for the cash.
Well, sometimes
The
you just
Brits-
have to do it for the cash.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you need the money. And nobody wants to hear, you know, hey, I got to take care of my family too. Or there's been an issue in my family. Or I got to do, you know, everybody has to work their butts off. Some people have lots and lots of dough, but it's all sort of how you look at it. It's really how you look
It's
at
bad
it.
form to talk about how much money you make and
Right, but he
money.
wasn't.
in general.
All he said was, I like making money. I'm not doing this because it's, you know, because it's sacred. I'm doing this because it's going to put some dough in my wallet.
You know, Joan Rivers used to say when the audience was not good, she'd think of the check.
Yes. I get asked the question all the time. Why do you do the things you do? Good check, baby. We'll be right back. Perry went from taking on the headlines on her show to getting thrust into the headlines when she went to war with her bosses at MSNBC. She finally walked away saying that she was being silenced by the network. That's how she felt. And she's telling us what went down right now. So please welcome Melissa Harris Perry. Melissa Harris Perry, welcome. So now, this is what we've heard, that the show, your show had been preempted several weeks. When you were asked to return, you said no. And then you sent an email criticizing MSNBC, which went public. What went down? I'd rather hear it from you. What
Right, so
happened?
to me, I think like the easiest way to describe this is if you think about a relationship. So have you ever been dating somebody and presumably you guys are still dating, but not really. Like, he hasn't called, y'all haven't not been out in months, and all the places where you used to go together, actually he's out there with somebody else. And you're like, I am pretty sure we are not dating anymore. So that's kind of what happened with the show. Like, the show had basically been canceled. All of our branding was gone, the thing that said Melissa host. So during the hours of 10 to noon, I wasn't there anymore. Even though I was in Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, I wasn't asked to be on air during that time. Other people were. And then some other folks at other places started to notice. They called, they asked MS about it, and then at that point, MS decided to put me back on air. But just me, not our show. So our show was a particular kind of thing. It was a table of people with different viewpoints and ideas. And what they wanted me to do was just show up and read the news. And so what I declined to do was that. I didn't decline to come back and do my show. I declined to come back and just...
And do the show they wanted you to
Yeah.
do. You didn't want to do that. So this is what you wrote. Quote, our show was taken without comment or discussion or notice in the midst of an election season. I will not be used as a tool for their purposes. I am not a token, mammy, or little brown bobblehead. So is the implication that there's some racism in there?
Well, so you got to remember, this was an email I wrote internally to my team. I didn't have any intention or have any expectation that that would ever be public. And so part of it is me writing in shorthand to my team. I'm a African-American politics scholar. So when I say mammy, I mean something very particular. And it's basically the history of mammy is that mammy is the black woman who cares more about the Masters family than about her own. And so what I'm saying is I don't care more about MSNBC's reputation than I do about the Nerdland family, about the thing that we built, about our viewing audience and about our team. And so I didn't want to be used as kind of cover. Did I think it was racialized? Not in the sense of like they're coming after Melissa for being black. Do I think it has racial implications? 100%. And here's how I know it. Our show had the most diverse guests on cable news, period. It just is an empirical reality. Taking this show off the air, even if you put me individually back on as a host, meant that the folks who sat at our table, whether they were transgender women of color, whether they were Latino Republicans, they just weren't going to be there anymore because we were the folks who put them on air each and every week.
Yeah, they took about 6 of you off the air. I know they were surprised by the email. They denied that they were canceling your show. We reached out to them for a comment, and this is the statement. They said, "We are proud of the diverse backgrounds of MSNBC's journalists, hosts, and analysts. MSNBC identified Melissa as a unique voice 4 years ago, gave her a platform, and stuck with her, and it would have continued had she not sent a destructive email. It was not being canceled. It was not being altered. We're surprised and sad about how this ended, but we do wish her the best." So why didn't you meet with them and express those concerns?
I tried regularly. I had been, in fact, this is one of my kind of difficulties, the kind of boyfriend thing. I had been trying since November to meet with them and gotten to a point there where, again, lines of communication had really broken down. It was very painful for me to be standing there, literally standing there in New Hampshire, watching every other person on the network, including people who didn't have shows, be used as voices, and I was standing there and wasn't used. So it was tough. And so I was asking repeatedly whether or not there was going to be a place for me.
But contractually, don't they have the right to alter programming?
100%,
right?
absolutely. Just like your boyfriend has the right to break up with you, they just got to tell you. So all that I was asking was, look, this is your car. You can drive it any direction you want. But what I wanted was, after 4 years of working together, and they're right, we spent 4 years doing great things together, things that I actually feel very proud of. And they did. They gave me a lot of latitude. Man, I'm a little college professor from Wake Forest in North Carolina. They were like, here, take 4 hours on the weekends. What a privilege.
You're also a political scholar, though.
Yeah, absolutely. But
so
man,
why not wait for the breakup? Why not wait until you're sure? I mean, make your plans.
Sure.
But why because my understanding is somehow a little bit of your email leaked.
Right.
And somebody said that you then felt, instead of just having a little bit out there,
I put the whole thing out there after that. That's right.
So why not wait until you know exactly what they're doing?
Well, so I think a couple of things. One was lost trust, but once part of it, particularly the part that Joy just read, the little brown bobblehead part, once that's in the New York Times, I mean, I felt like it was really important for people to see the whole argument. So I did send it to a former colleague, a former producer. He put the whole thing up on Medium. I wanted people to see the whole thing. I wasn't sure what would happen. I figured that it probably meant that it was over, but I wasn't certain.
It also gives you upper hand in a breakup, to go back to George Costanza. You know, it's like this way. You want to break up with me? How about I break up with you?
Well,
Which is sometimes a nice feeling.
I mean, I think in the end, they had the upper hand. Y'all were talking before the break about, like, you got to work for money.
Right.
Look, I got a mortgage too. In the end, I walked away from negotiations. They hold the cash.
But they didn't give you any severance, isn't that right? You chose to walk away.
That is correct.
Without severance.
That's correct. You do that? Well, because in the end, it was either you can have your voice or you can have the money, and I decided to bet on my voice.
Quick question. MSNBC, though, has also recently gone through some other on-air changes. Several white and black hosts have left, or their roles have visibly changed. The National Association of Black Journalists have expressed concerns. What do you think about that? What is the future of MSNBC in terms of on-air talent?
It's been interesting to watch that since all of this happened, there's actually been a return of some of my favorite faces to air. And what I'll say is, if the end of Nerdland actually means that more black and brown faces show back up, then the end of Nerdland will be worth it. That will actually be okay from my perspective. I loved what we were doing. I would have loved to have kept doing it. But it's also okay if, not because of us, not because of me, but because there were a group of people who said, you know what we thought was happening there mattered. It's been the most beautiful part of it has been having folks who were guests, having folks who have been viewers say, we loved what you were doing. That's a real gift. And so if MS heard that, and in response, some of the folks who are still there end up with more airtime, I can 100% live with that.
All right, we like that. Well, thank you, Melissa Harris Perry. We will be right back.
Stacy here. I've got smart, stylish solutions for people whose lives run at 100 miles an hour that you're going to love coming up next.
On taking Trump and Hillary to task on the campaign trail, plus Oscar winner Sally Field.
So, Michelle, tell us about The Bachelor tonight quickly.
Okay, it's the finale. I'm freaking out. Bachelor finale tonight. He's in love with 2 women. I am going to be live tweeting at Mishcall. See, I'm not one of them. I'm very furious about it. But those are the 2 women. But yeah, at Mishcall. I will be Instagramming, tweeting, and follow me. I'm drinking rosé. It's going to be a scene.
And we want you to have a great day and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon.